Well, hello, friends, and welcome back to CWK Live. Hey, we're back on a Tuesday, and it's great to see all of you talking some Star Wars together, of course. I'm Dan Zare. I am the host of Coffee with Kenobi. I hope everybody had a very, very Merry Christmas. I know that our family did. Our whole family was home, which was great. Um, just seeing the family together, everybody being home. And yes, we were a little bit snowed in, which is part of the fun from last week. And it all worked out beautifully. Playing games, watching movies, just spending time together, just like we do. And yes, Brian, you are in the right place. You are on time on Tuesday. And Ben says, good evening. Hello, Ben. Great to see you. And Mary is here too. Happy Tuesday. She says, hope everyone is starting to thaw out from that Arctic blast. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And we're glad. In fact, so last weekend it was below zero. And this weekend coming up, it's going to be in the 50s. So that is pretty wild. That is pretty wild. It's like we're going from planet to planet or something like that. You will see that in the Coffee with Kenobi studio, the Christmas decorations are down. We, in fact, took down our family Christmas decorations today. Can you believe it? We also had them up pretty early in the middle of November. So it was time. It was time. But we had a great time, and I hope you all did as well. So on today's show, we have your top 5 moments from Tales of the Jedi. Practice makes perfect. The year in Star Wars and your Star Wars resolutions. And, of course, your comments and questions. So let's take a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week. Cha-cha-cha. Well, that is not what I wanted to happen. Let's try that again. Let's take a look at what's brewing in the world of Star Wars this week. All right, so I feel like this is as good a time as any. And what's brewing the world of Star Wars this week is you. Let's talk about what Star Wars was for you in the year 2022, because we're 2 days after Christmas. We are a couple of days before New Year's Eve in 2023, which is hard to believe, but also quite natural and quite fun because everything is so organic. And I love traditions, and I love counting on the fact that every year is a new chance to start over and make things happen. So what are some things that you all, loved about Star Wars this year? And what are some things you're looking forward to in 2023? Daniel is here, and he says, hi, everybody. I have my new CWK notebook with me. Well, Daniel, that is fantastic. And look, in the CWK Cafe, of course, we've got our Coffee with Kenobi TeePublic store, coffeewithkenobi.com/shop. And Daniel purchased a CWK notebook, which I've never seen in person before. Of course, we helped design them, but I've never seen one in person. And that, I tell you what, buddy, that was cool. And Daniel has his with him, which is so awesome. And Minta is here too. Hello, Minta. This is the way. It's CWK Day. Good to see you, Minta. Ben says, can't believe the Book of Boba Fett was coming out a year ago around this point. You know what? I was looking at that. I mean, what are all the shows we had this year? We had the Book of Boba Fett. We had Obi-Wan Kenobi. We had, of course, Andor. What else do we have in 2022? What am I missing that's so obvious? I'm thinking about when was Bad Batch Season 1? Was that this year or was it last year? It's all really kind of confusing. It's all sort of jumbling together. If only there was a way to access easy information at the drop of a hat, like with, say, a cell phone or a Google machine or something like that. If only. Ben says the most obvious is Tales of the Jedi, since we're talking about tonight. Yes, Tales of the Jedi, a terrific one that I really, really love and was great this year. Mary's top 22. Mary is seeing everybody at Celebration. I was going to bring that up, and I'm glad that you did, Mary. Yes, Star Wars Celebration was about as good as it gets. And I had a great time there. I had a great time seeing all of you. We had a great evening. I think it was Saturday night, wasn't it? A lot of us got together at Downtown Disney and had a great meal together. That was an excellent time. I mean, this Bad Batch came around in January. I thought so too. Yeah, like early in January. I thought so. Daniel, of course, loved Kenobi this year for obvious reasons. Just look at his profile picture and his awesome work for that. He waited so long for that production. Yes, we all did, and boy, was it terrific. Ben's pretty sure Bad Batch was fall 2021. I know you're right. I just can't remember when it ended. Did it end before the new year? I don't know. I can't remember. I guess we could just look back at our old CWK live and check it out that way. Also for Star Wars, we had a lot of great books released. They went back in time for the High Republic, and that has been, of course, great. And that's fairly newish in 2022, but that's been some great stuff there. We had a lot of great books. Shadow of the Sith, for example, which was terrific. A lot of great comics, a lot of great action figures. We got the news at the D23 Expo and got to see clips and glimpses of Mandalorian Season 3, the Ahsoka show that's coming out next year, and of course the Indiana Jones trailer. Finally, everybody got to see, and of course that was spectacular as well. Bad Batch trailer. Ben says episode 1 came out in May 2021, and episode 16 came out August 13th, 2021. Thank you, Ben. It all jumbles together, so thank you for getting that figured out for us. Mary says Tales of Jedi, Andor, and Kenobi were highlights. The High Republic books have been really good. Agreed. Brian just recently started reading Shadow of the Sith, only a few chapters in. Brian, you'll love it. Of course, the author is great, Adam Christopher. He and I have become pretty good buddies. And I have an interview with him after you read this show that you might want to listen to on Coffee with Kenobi that I think you'll really enjoy. Daniel says +1 on the High Republic novel this year. There you go. I'm glad. There's some great books. There's some great stuff. So what are you looking forward to in 2023? I am certainly looking forward to Star Wars Celebration in London. I think that's going to be great because, of course, I know a lot of us are not able to go, but some of our friends in Europe and the UK are going to join. So that'll be great to see all of you. We've got Bad Batch Season 2, which I've seen about 90% of it, and I'm very excited. I can't say anything about it yet, but I will be able to soon. But I'm excited for it to come out, for sure. We have Mandalorian Season 3, which is going to be massively huge. I've been rewatching it in the fall with my mythology students at the high school where I teach. Hearing their insights and rewatching that series has been... No, we don't watch all of them. We just watch key highlights, and we do a lot of essay work on them and a lot of analytical stuff. But the things that my students come up with, which I can't take credit for, it's just their brilliance and their insights, is just really inspiring to me. And it just makes me realize how incredible that series is. I mean, The Mandalorian really is just another level. I mean, I know Andor is too, but The Mandalorian it's got everything that you love about Star Wars, and it just deepens the mythology and adds some layers of nuance to the Force, to the Mandalorians themselves. There's a lot to love about it. Very much looking forward to that. Of course, I'm looking forward to Ahsoka, but boy, talk about taking a deep breath, because that thing I think is going to knock us out of our socks. Daniel says, so much content next year, Ahsoka, definitely. Ben says, Ahsoka and getting some of our Rebel friends in live action, that has to be the highlight. Yes, we know for sure that Sabine is going to be in it. And that's all we know for sure, and that's going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing. I think we did see a silhouette of Hera in the trailer as well. I think that's right. Boy, I forgot about that, because of course I avoid anything that's speculatory, but my goodness. Wow. Oh, that makes me smile so much. Cannot wait. All right. Well, as we're going on, and of course at the end of the show, if you want to add more things you're looking forward to or things you really liked about 2022, please feel free to bring them up. But for now, let's talk about our top 5. Let's talk about our top 5 for tonight. Top 5 moments from Tales of the Jedi. Practice makes perfect. A truly moving, powerful episode where we see the taskmaster that Anakin Skywalker is, why he is the way that he is towards Ahsoka, and how pivotal it is to her actual survival. Josh says, can't wait to find out who will play Hera. I can't either, Josh, and it's great to see you here. Yes, so this, again, a spectacular episode. Practice makes perfect. I love the time jumps, the evolution of Ahsoka's training, and why it's so critically important. Just really smart. So let's get into our top 5. I'm sure you've got a lot of great stuff. All of you that you want to talk about. So 5 for me is Excited Padawan, of course. Because I love Rebels so much, speaking of Rebels, I got to talk about seeing Caleb Doom slash Kanan Jarrus uh, with his Jedi master. Depa Balaba, you see them at the beginning when Ahsoka is surrounded by that force field doing her training, and she does a couple of cool moves, and Caleb Doom is so excited and impressed. He jumps up and gives like a little standing ovation, and they don't give it a ton of attention, but it's just there's just enough there, and it's wonderful. It's just wonderful because Caleb slash Kane is one of my favorite characters, and I love Ahsoka too. So that was a great little thing. It's almost an Easter egg. Josh only goes by casting announcements too. Of course, that's right. I love it. I love it. Mary's number 5, Caleb Doom. There you go. And his master at the beginning of Ahsoka's training. I went down a rabbit hole with Rebels to see if Kanan shows any recognition of Ahsoka when she comes down the ladder or later in season 2. And what did you discover? What did you discover? I mean, I don't remember there being like a clear thing, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't. So I'm interested to see what you found out, Mary. That's cool. Minta says, it was interesting to see how the Jedi set up their own training sessions to see how Ahsoka would react to the droids, but it was clear to see that Anakin wasn't impressed. No, because to him it's just like artificial tests. Those things are easy. Of course, for him they are. But he had more in mind for it, and thank goodness he did. Ben also, number 5, Caleb Doom cameo. That was a fun plug. Now, but I like knowing that he knew Ahsoka as a Padawan. Isn't that cool? I like that too because his estimation of her obviously was very high, and it only grows over time because he gets to see her as a Padawan, and then, of course, as a master that she later becomes. Dana watched the Sith Lord, been a bit behind lately, and had no power for 3 days, including Christmas. You know what? That is okay. That is okay, Daniel. That's a great episode, too, and if you have any thoughts on this one, jump in. Otherwise, just hang out, eat some popcorn, and give the expected Daniel wit that we love so much. Brian's number 5, the irony of Jesse being the first to stun Ahsoka. Yeah, that was quite ironic as well. Really ironic. Wow. See, again, the Dave Filoni and company, they know what they are doing. It's really great. Ben says, you can have my top 5, Daniel. Yeah, we're going to share. Barry said, I did not see there was any recognition from her from before. Ahsoka really addressed Ezra in the first episode as Fulcrum. Then by season 2, it seems there's been a bit of a time jump. Yeah, we don't really get that necessary perspective. So I'm glad you did that homework for us. Mary, thank you. That's above and beyond. On time, there's a running joke for number 4 for me. Well, where Anakin says, I'm late, and Obi-Wan says, that's what I meant. And they say, hey, you're right on time. Then later, as Anakin says the same thing to Ahsoka. So the Master and the Padawan are very similar with their punctuality or lack thereof. And that was just fun. Obi-Wan with Anakin and then Anakin with Ahsoka. Absolutely delightful. I just like that. Really cool. Number 4 from Minta is young Caleb Doom. Yes, I love that as well. Daniel's 5 was seeing Rex and the clones again. That was cool. Even anytime we get to see Rex, especially anything in that Clone Wars era, there's still, even though we've addressed a lot of the major stuff, you just hope there's some key things out there that we've never seen, because I think we love that part of Star Wars so much. Great. What did everybody else have for their number 4 on this incredible episode? Which again really captures not only Anakin and Ahsoka's unique bond as master and apprentice. Master and Padawan is probably a better term because apprentice has definitely that Sith connotation. But how much everything builds upon itself leading to the Siege of Mandalore in Order 66. Number 4 for Ben, same as mine. I thought I was late. That's what I meant. We're on the same page again tonight. That's awesome, Ben. I'm very grateful for that. Brian, number 4, the late joke. I love when they extend the conversations. There you go. Brian, Ben, and Dan, just like we did on Willow. How great is that? Number 4 for Mary. Anakin and Obi-Wan's conversation during their first training testing session. Their chemistry is so good, and it was great to hear Matt Lanter and James Arnold Taylor again. I agree, and I wanted more James Arnold Taylor as Obi-Wan. All these new things we're getting from this time era. Why I'm having such a hard time with my words tonight. Maybe I still had too much Christmas goodness. I don't know. But I want to see them more together. And we get to see a lot of it in Clone Wars, of course, but you can never have too much of those two. Or of James Arnold Taylor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, for sure. Okay, I think that's everyone that's chiming in so far with number 4. I don't think I missed anyone. And Mary agrees. Not enough Jat and Tails. No, absolutely not. You can never have too much. We always need more of James Arnold Taylor. 4 for Daniel is Anakin and asking her if she would like the real test instead of the one every Jedi does. And then you just know, okay, what is going to happen here? But Ben says, with such a heavy episode and series, I like when they get a little bit of humor injected in there. Sorry, Commander. I do too. Because these are all pretty heavy, for sure. There's not a lot of lightness in any of these. Number 3, I think we see Jedi Master I'm Gonna Die, which is quite a name. I've talked about that in a previous CWK live when we talked about Clone Wars or like favorite Jedis. I think I include him as one of my favorite Jedis, non-traditional Jedis. He's only in one episode in Clone Wars, I believe. And he doesn't live very long, but hence the name. That's the name they gave him. But he's just a cool character. He doesn't talk, he doesn't do anything. He just kind of stands there and looks. But I really like that character, so it was cool to see I'm Gonna Die really briefly in this episode. Boy, the lighting is so bright in here. Let me try to fix this. That is not what we want to do here. Let's see. How's that? Oh, a little bit better. A little bit better. Let's see. Maintenance 3. It wasn't easy to watch Ahsoka go down numerous times by the clones. I'm going to pause your comment for a second. Yes, I agree. That was terrible. I didn't like that either. Okay, back to your awesome insights. But Anakin knew that it was necessary for her to go through the process, since war is never predictable. Neither are the enemies. Well said. Well said. Mary's number 3. Just like many of your number 4, you're right, on time. I thought I was late. That's what I meant. Said verbatim by Anakin and then Ahsoka. It's classic them, isn't it? Just classic. Okay. Any other 3s that anybody wants to chime in on? I wonder if anybody else caught that I'm Gonna Die sighting. Again, I'm not. When I had the captions on, it's not like because he doesn't talk or say anything, they don't reference who it actually is, but it sure looks like that character to me. I'm trying to think of the species that I'm Gonna Die is. I'd have to look that up. Let's see what else we have. Number 3 for Ben. Anakin offers Ahsoka, quote, the real test, end quote. He's always taught differently than the Jedi Order. We've seen that so many times, so of course he wouldn't agree with this test. Yeah, that would not be his thing. He's very dismissive and certainly pompous and pretentious, but with good reason, because he knows that he wants her to stay alive and he thinks that she's better than that. And thank goodness he did. Brian's 3. Anakin's disdain for the official test and further distancing himself from the Jedi way. Yes. Which, of course, he's going to be quite an expert in, isn't he? Daniel's 3 is Kenobi goodness, getting to see him in his longer locks. Yeah, that's right. Thank you for bringing that up. We didn't really talk about that before, but Obi-Wan Kenobi has this different haircut. Kind of puts him, right in smack dab in Attack of the Clones turf. That was cool to see. And I don't think we've ever seen that design in this Clone, even though it's not Clone Wars, in this Clone Wars era style animation. All right, let's go to number 2. Number 2 is training angst. Training angst. And now what I'm talking about here is what I mean to refer to. Every time they kept blasting at Ahsoka, and it seemed like it was never going to end, even when you watch it in subsequent times, it's just a little stressful or angsty because you just don't, even though she's being stunned, you know that it takes a lot out of you. It makes you sleepy. It's just disturbing, and maybe just because it's a foreshadowing into what we know is going to happen. That could very much be why it's so troublesome to see and painful. But again, ultimately, it's a nice reminder that sometimes when you're learning from someone, sometimes it's very difficult, and it can be emotionally vexing or stressful or challenging, of course, on a different scale than in a fictional universe with blasters and stun blasts and lightsabers. But still, the idea is there. As a parent, as a teacher, as a mentor, like I talked about in my book, Star Wars, I'm Your Father, teaching can be difficult and there are some hard lessons, but ultimately there are good reasons, and the failure helps you to grow. But still, it can be awkward, and that is, of course, what we get to experience here. Number 2, for Minta, Jad as Kenobi. We need more of him. Yes, absolutely. Brian says Obi-Wan's hair reminded me of 2003 Clone Wars. Okay, yeah, that's good. I'm sure that's part of the decision for the artistic style as well. Mary's set number 2 is Anakin telling Ahsoka if she can go against Rex and the boys, she can go against anyone with a blaster. And then time jump showing her progress with Anakin always watching over her. So awesome, right? And seeing like the difference in her Leiku and her, I think are they Leiku for Togrutas? I'm not sure. And seeing her clothing and just seeing her grow up. And plus, Ashley Eckstein is so talented. And hearing her change Ahsoka's voice based on how old Ahsoka is, which is terrific. Absolutely terrific. Ben's number 2. Quote, again, end quote, draws parallels to Miracle on Ice. I agree, yes. My 2 favorite combined Star Wars and hockey. Oh, just like Colby Mead. We like to question tough practices like this, but Anakin knows it's the only way to ensure she survives. Exactly. It's uncomfortable sometimes to watch, but the end result and the lessons are just too important not to learn. All right, Matt is here. Hello, Matt. Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Great to see you, Matthew. Hope you had a great Christmas. Matt says Anakin's seeming to know what Ahsoka will be facing in the near future. I know. Kind of haunting. Daniel says Snips and her gradual evolution of the clones technique. I wonder if this is why she liked to have 2 lightsabers. Oh, that's a good observation. I hadn't thought of that. Ben says, yeah, the Leiku is right. I thought it was. So good. Thank y'all. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks. I'm glad I've got my fact checkers here. Normally, when I'm writing something or whatever, I can like look things up online or in a book or something like that. But I don't have to, and I've got my Star Wars experts here right there making me look good. So thank you. Let's see. Daniel says Togruta equals Tails. It must. Brian's number 2 is Caleb Doom. Can't get enough of one of my favorite Jedis. Agreed. Seeing him watch Ahsoka and Depa Blaba escort him quickly away after the lesson. Delightful. And again, I like that we have them. We have Yoda. But there's no dialogue because it's not really their story. But having them there and seeing all like the high ups, or at least in our fan minds and in the Jedi Order, this has a lot of weight. To it. All right. It is time for number 1. It's ironic I'm doing a drum roll because for Christmas, Mason got a drum set. And so he joked about bringing his drum set down here for when we do the drum rolls. Number 1 for me is denouement. Now, denouement, for those of you who are not aware what that word means, that is a French word in the world of literature. Denouement is the resolution of all of the events that finishes off the climax and kind of ties up everything that has happened in the episode. So the denouement here, the resolution here is, of course, hey, all this happened to get her ready for Order 66, which we see, of course, in the Siege of Mandalore. It's a beautiful denouement, and when it happens, you gasp. I literally remember gasping out loud when I saw how they were going to resolve this episode with the denouement of her in Order 66 with Rex leading into that room, that giant hangar with all those clones firing at her and Rex. And I just thought, brilliant. It's absolute brilliant. So that is my number 1, the denouement. Okay, what does everyone else have? Minta says, time jump with each session. Ahsoka has improved her skills, even to the point where she begins to push herself. And all leads up to the final episode of the Clone Wars series we all admire and despair. Exactly. Number 1 for Mary. Let's hope all that training pays off, Rex says to Ahsoka as they face the clones after Order 66. It's so heart-wrenching since we know what happens to all the clones on the ship. The emphasis on Jesse at the beginning of the training to see how Jesse reacts to Ahsoka at the end. Again, the irony, the brilliance of this, it's just powerful. And it's cool to hear all of you how it's affected you too. Daniel's on one of the culmination of the story and how she learned to survive the clone attack. Are we all going to have it? Is the same one? Ben translates strictly as untying. Exactly. A denouement is untying. The unraveling of all the events that lead to the resolution of the story, of the narrative. Brian's on 1. Ahsoka's new resolve after Anakin's coaching sessions. She knew there was a real reason that he was pushing so much, and she could see how much he cared for her and why his tough love. And he got cut off there, but I know you'll follow up. Ben's number 1, let's hope all that training pays off. It's beautiful knowing that Anakin may have turned, but in the end, it's his training that saved her. Dramatic irony for us. Dramatic irony is when we know what's going to happen, but the characters in the story don't. And it's great. It's really effective. Matt Graken's number 1. Ahsoka's determination to keep improving against what seemed to be impossible odds and improving herself after years and years of training. Her sheer grit and determination that eventually defines her as a... Sorry, I lost it there. As a character and saves her life and makes her once again one of the most beloved characters in Star Wars. Well said, Matt, and I totally agree with you. Josh says, anyone with victory and death is always a gut punch. Yep. There's no way around it. It's spellbinding and it takes your breath away, but it's also very powerful, and the narrative weight is something that's impossible to forget about. Absolutely impossible. Well, this was fun. This was so fun because it's a terrific episode. And next week's, of course, is also spectacular. It's the last one in Tales of the Jedi. This is Resolve. Resolve is the last one in Tales of the Jedi. And I believe, if I'm correct, wait, am I missing something? No, I'm not. We planned this on purpose. Then the week after, we're going to start on looking at Bad Batch. So good. Yeah, so next week is your top 5 moments from Tales of the Jedi Resolve. Another great one, and a great one to end this little micro series on. Now let's go ahead and jump into Ask Dan Z. All right, time to Ask Dan Z. We can talk more about what you're looking forward to in 2023 or what you loved about Star Wars in 2022. I wanted to share with you really quickly while you're thinking about what you'd like to jump in on. If you have anything on your mind or your heart, pour over this week. While Christmas is just a few days away, we released this on Christmas Day, a few days earlier. If you are on the video portion of our Patreon page, we gave our top 5 Christmas specials. So the Rankin Bass specials, a Charlie Brown Christmas, all kinds of great shows that we just had fun with. We've done so many Christmas episodes, so it was great to talk about these. We're running out of Christmas topics, but I'm sure the universe will provide something else for us. But it was fun to talk about our top 5 Christmas specials. If you're interested in this show or any, we've got over 200 CWK Pros. Again, those are weekly shows that come out, hosted by me, Corey Clubb, and Tom Gross. We talk about Star Wars, popular culture, like this Christmas specials episode, all kinds of stuff. And you can get Pour Over for just $5 a month. You get 4 episodes plus the entire back catalog. So it's pretty fun. And it's a great way to help out me and Coffee with Kenobi. Plus, 10% of your monthly contributions go directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. Again, there you go. coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance. Ben wants to know, what is Mason learning on the drums, and did you invest in some earplugs? So I got him. I have like these big noise canceling headphones I use when I mow. So I'm having him wear those, and then he just plays in his room with the door closed. And he's just kind of teaching himself. We did get him lessons, so he's going to start lessons very soon. But boy, is he having fun. Plus, I just think it's good for him. It's good for his brain. Matt says, all the series coming out, so much goodness. There is a lot to be excited about. I mean, there's so many shows. There's going to be so much double coverage. There's going to be a few days or a few weeks where when we are doing CWK Live, we'll have both the Bad Batch and the Mandalorian at the same time. What an amazing challenge. What an amazing problem to have. But Mason is going to be with me breaking down all episodes of the Bad Batch, which I'm extremely excited about. In fact, he wanted to know if I let all of you know that he's going to be back on CWK Live more actively for the Bad Batch. And the answer is yes. Bad Batch is great. It's a little more family friendly, even though it's still got some pretty intense stuff for sure. But it's more family friendly than the Andor for sure. So it'll be great to have Mason back. Brian says he can't wait for his Mando Season 3. I'm hoping to work on another 501st costume in 2023. Well, that would be awesome, Brian. I look forward to seeing that. Of course, you've got your buddies in the 501st, and Daniel's a great resource as well. Mary says, I'm sure Mason is excited about Bad Batch. Can't wait to hear his thoughts on the show. I can't either. We're going to have him set up on his own little computer. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And it's also great, of course, chatting Star Wars with each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me, especially during the holiday season. I know there's traveling and a lot of things going on. A lot of you are with family or traveling right now. Hopefully none of you are having challenges. I know there's a lot of airport or flight challenges. Hopefully that isn't affecting all of you. But if it is, hopefully this was able to give you a quick escape or a little bit of a respite to talk about Star Wars with your friends. Ben says, can't wait to have Mason back. Thank you so much, Ben. He's looking forward to it. Meantime, may the Force with you. I'll talk to you soon as we record our review of Willow. Matt says, Callan has a lot of questions regarding Bad Batch. Awesome. That'll be fun. Josh says, so much to look forward to in 2023. I agree. Looking forward to it and looking forward to chatting about it with all of you. Mary says, Happy New Year, everyone. Please be safe and see you all in 2023. Sounds great. A very, very happy New Year to all of you. Be safe. Get cozy in your homes. Have great meals with family and friends. And remember that we will be here with you every Tuesday night. And, of course, later in the week on Coffee with Kenobi to talk about Star Wars. Thanks so much, everybody. Brian says, I miss Mad-Eyed Mason. Yeah, he misses it too, so it's going to be fun to have him. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, Happy New Year. Remember, this is the live podcast you're looking for. See you next time, and may the Force be with you.